What if I told you that a straightforward action performed only twice daily could restore your testosterone levels to those of your 25-year-old self? No injections, no medications, no complex routines, just genuine, measurable outcomes. Sounds impossible. It is not. I'm Dr. Williams. For over 30 years, I've assisted thousands of men over 60 in naturally reclaiming their vitality, strength, and sense of self. I'm not here to offer false promises. I'm here to share what has proven effective for my patients and for myself. How can someone in their 60s, 70s, or even 80s possibly achieve the testosterone levels of a 25-year-old without pharmaceutical intervention? The answer isn't merely surprising, it's empowering. You've likely never encountered this information presented in such a comprehensive manner before. In the next few minutes, I will show you precisely what steps to take twice daily to naturally prompt your body to restore and safeguard your testosterone levels. We're discussing improved energy, clearer cognition, a revitalized sex drive, and the return of that inner fire you thought was long extinguished. And by the conclusion of this video, I will introduce you to a natural compound that is helping thousands of men restore their masculinity. And most have never even heard of it. Do not miss this. For most men, a subtle shift begins quietly around their late 40s or early 50s. You can't quite pinpoint it initially. Perhaps your mornings feel heavier. Your energy dissipates faster than it used to. You're not sleeping as profoundly, and somewhere along the way, that inner drive, the quiet confidence you once possessed, starts to diminish. You might even begin questioning yourself, wondering if this is simply what aging entails. As a physician who has dedicated over 30 years to working with men over 60, I've had these conversations countless times. I've sat across from patients who were once soldiers, CEOs, athletes, men who had a spark in their eyes, and now they tell me they feel like a mere shadow of their former selves. The hardest part is that most of them believe it's their fault, that they're simply getting old. But I want to impart a crucial truth that I wish every man knew sooner. This slow decline isn't your fault. It's not a sign of weakness. It's biology. By the time you reach 60, your testosterone levels may have plummeted by up to 60% compared to when you were 25. And no one informed you it was coming. No one prepared you for the reality that modern life filled with plastic toxins, nutrient-deeping diets, and chronic stress is subtly eroding your vitality. But here's the part that matters most. You can reclaim it. Your body hasn't forgotten how to be strong. It simply needs the right tools. So what if you could begin reversing that decline starting today? That's precisely what we'll delve into next. Let me show you how one simple action performed every morning can begin to change everything. If you're still present and this message resonates with you, just type 1 in the comments so I know you're still accompanying me on this journey. Now, let's proceed to the next powerful step. Testosterone isn't solely about sex or muscle mass. It's something more profound. It's the silent engine driving a man's motivation, strength, and mental clarity. I've observed it time and again when a man's testosterone levels begin to fall. It doesn't just manifest in the bedroom. It appears in his posture, his self-assurance, his outlook on life. You might start feeling more fatigued after simple tasks, or notice that it's harder to concentrate, to feel motivated, or even to connect emotionally with your loved ones. What I frequently tell my patients is this: testosterone is the language your body employs to convey. I am still here. I am still vital. It supports lean muscle, protects your bones, sharpens your memory, fuels your ambition, and yes, keeps intimacy alive. Not just physically, but emotionally too. When your testosterone is balanced, everything feels more harmonious. You're more inclined to remain active, to laugh more frequently, to feel genuinely like yourself again. One of my patients, 67 years old, shared something that profoundly resonated with me. He said, "I don't want to feel like I'm fading out of my own story." That struck me deeply because I understood precisely what he meant, and I also knew we could alter it. Within 2 months of following the correct protocol, he was sleeping better, smiling more, and had rediscovered a spark he believed was long extinguished. The truth is, You don't have to fade. Not now. Not ever. And what comes next might be the simplest, most potent way to transform that truth into reality. Let me guide you directly into the precise twice-a-day routine that makes it possible. Here's the segment where things become real and straightforward. After years of treating men in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s, I've come to believe this. The body responds best to consistency, not complexity. And that's why this protocol, performed just twice daily, has transformed lives. I've witnessed men regain energy, libido, focus, and even a sense of purpose they hadn't experienced in decades. It begins in the morning. I advise my patients to treat breakfast as a daily ritual for their hormones. 2 whole egg yolks. Yes, with the cholesterol, because cholesterol is the raw material your body needs to produce testosterone. Add 1 Brazil nut for selenium, which safeguards the testes and enhances testosterone production. Then a spoonful of raw pumpkin seeds for zinc, the mineral that acts like a guardian, preventing your testosterone from converting into estrogen. That's not just breakfast. It's a message to your body that strength and vitality still matter. Then comes the evening. A small amount of wild yam cream, just a fingertip's worth, applied to the skin. It sounds too easy, I know, but natural compounds in wild yam have helped countless men restore balance by gently nudging their endocrine system back into action. I've had patients call me weeks later, astonished at the quiet confidence they started to feel returning. One even joked, "Doc, I've got the swagger of a 30-year-old and the wisdom to use it. But what makes this protocol truly effective isn't just what you do, it's what you stop doing. Because chances are something in your daily life is secretly depleting your testosterone." Let's discuss the hidden culprit that might be in your kitchen right now. If you're still reading and these insights resonate, type 1 in the comments to signify your presence and engagement. Let's maintain momentum as we move to point number 4. Why this works, the science explains simply. I know some of you might be thinking this all sounds plausible, but does it genuinely work? I understand. After a certain age, we've heard enough promises to last a lifetime. But this isn't about hype, it's about biology. Your body is inherently designed to produce testosterone. It hasn't forgotten how. It simply requires the appropriate building blocks and the right environment. Let me simplify it as I explain it to my own patients. Testosterone is derived from cholesterol. That's why those egg yolks are so crucial. They provide your body with the necessary raw material. Then you have nutrients like zinc and selenium. These aren't just labels on a vitamin bottle. They are the spark plugs in your hormonal engine. Without them, nothing functions correctly. Zinc prevents testosterone from breaking down too quickly, and selenium supports the actual cells in your testes that produce it. It's not magic, it's biochemistry. The wild yam cream doesn't provide you with testosterone, but it aids your body in recalling how to naturally regulate hormones. And when your cortisol, your stress hormone, decreases in the evening due to better nutrition and improved rhythm, testosterone naturally rises. They are always in a delicate balance. Most men are surprised when they learn how these simple changes trigger powerful internal shifts, not only in hormone levels, but in mood, strength, and how you perceive yourself. And once you understand what fosters testosterone production, it's equally important to comprehend what diminishes it. The next topic we need to address may be hidden in plain sight, and you've likely encountered it today without realizing the cost. What to stop doing immediately. Sometimes the very things harming us most are those we don't even perceive. I've had men adhere to the right diet, use the correct supplements, even maintain a good sleep schedule, yet their testosterone levels remained low. Why? Because while they were performing all the right actions, they were also unknowingly undermining their progress with one invisible error: daily exposure to hormone disruptors. One of the primary culprits is plastic. That water bottle you refilled 3 times, the container you microwaved your lunch in, the soft plastic wrap on your leftovers. These are often laden with chemicals like BPA and phthalates, compounds that mimic estrogen in the body. And for a man over 60, already contending with declining testosterone. These estrogen-like chemicals are akin to pouring water on a fading flame. I've observed men improve their diet and still struggle until they ceased storing hot food in plastic, switched to glass or stainless steel, and discarded those old water bottles. The difference within weeks, their energy returned. They felt clearer, lighter, more vibrant because now their body wasn't just striving to produce testosterone. It wasn't battling an invisible adversary simultaneously. What you consume matters, but what you eliminate might matter even more. And when you combine this awareness with consistent daily action, things begin to change rapidly. So now, let's consolidate it all into a plan you can follow every single day, simply, clearly, and effectively. What comes next is your personal roadmap to reclaiming your strength. Daily Action Plan. After decades in medicine, I've learned that most men don't require more complicated routines. They need clarity. They need to know precisely what to do every single day to get their body functioning optimally again. That's the essence of this action plan. It's simple, it's achievable, and most importantly, it works. Every morning, before anything else, provide your body the fuel it's been lacking. 2 whole egg yolks, gently cooked, 1 Brazil nut, and a tablespoon of raw pumpkin seeds. This isn't just breakfast, it's hormone therapy from your own kitchen. You're supplying your body with the cholesterol, selenium, and zinc it needs to begin producing testosterone as it did decades ago. Then move, even if it's just a 20-minute walk. Get your blood flowing. I always say motion feeds the mind and the hormones, and when evening arrives, take just 1 minute to apply the wild yam cream. A small amount rubbed into the soft skin of your inner arm or chest, it becomes a daily reminder, your body's second cue of the day to rebalance and rebuild. Stay hydrated, sleep deeply. Avoid plastics, keep sugar intake low, that's it. You don't need to overhaul your life, just realign it. Small daily decisions that accumulate into a significant transformation. And while structure is essential, there's one more ingredient that transforms these actions into lasting change. It's not something you eat or apply, it's something you feel. It's why many men remain stuck and why others break free. Let's discuss that next emotional truth. You are still a man. There is something I need you to hear, and I want you to truly absorb it. Simply because you've aged doesn't mean you've lost what defines you as a man. It may feel like you're fading, like your energy, confidence, and purpose have quietly slipped out the back door, but they haven't. They're still there, buried under stress, time, and years of being told to just accept the decline. I've sat across from men who once commanded boardrooms, ran marathons, raised families, and now they barely recognize the person in the mirror. The worst part is, they believe this is simply how aging works. But I'm here to tell you that fire is not extinguished. It's merely awaiting rekindling. And when it returns, when you feel strength in your body, clarity in your mind, and desire in your spirit, you will remember exactly who you are. Testosterone is part of the story, yes, but it's also about identity, purpose, and the quiet pride of feeling like a man again. Not just because of what you can achieve, but because of how you feel within your own being. That's what we're truly restoring here. I've witnessed men in their 60s and 70s regain their edge, not because they found a miracle, but because they believed they still possessed it within them and acted upon that belief. And now, as we move forward, I want to share one final piece, something almost no one discusses, but that could be the missing link to unlocking your vitality for good. The final ingredient few talk about. There's one natural compound I rarely hear mentioned in mainstream conversations about men's health. Yet, I've observed it quietly transform lives in my practice. It's called macaca root. And while it's not a magic pill, it can be a powerful ally, especially for men over 60. Grown high in the Andes, this root has been used for centuries by native populations to support strength, energy, and yes, vitality. What makes maca different is that it doesn't force your body to produce testosterone. Instead, it helps your entire hormonal system come back into balance. It supports the endocrine system, calms stress responses, and subtly boosts libido and mood. I've had patients who added just a teaspoon a day to their smoothies or oatmeal and came back weeks later feeling more alive, more like themselves. One man, 71 years old, told me he felt like he was walking around with the lights turned back on. Not just physically, but emotionally too. He was laughing more, sleeping better, feeling connected to his wife again after years of quiet distance. That's what real vitality does. It brings you back into your life. Macaca root is safe, natural, and easy to find. And when paired with the daily habits you've learned so far, it becomes a final piece of a powerful puzzle. Sometimes it's not just the big changes, but the small, consistent ones that unlock the biggest results. And now, as we bring all of this together, let's answer the questions you may still be wondering. Because chances are, if you're thinking it, you're not alone. Frequently asked questions. Over the years, I've heard the same honest questions from men who are just starting this journey. Some hopeful, some skeptical, and all of them understandable. One of the first things I'm usually asked is this really safe for someone my age? And the answer is yes. Everything we've talked about, foods, nutrients, wild yam cream, maca root, is natural, gentle, and supports your body's own systems. I still encourage every man to talk to his doctor, but I can tell you from experience, this approach has helped more men than I can count. Another question I hear often is, how long does it take to feel a difference? For some, it's within 2 weeks. For others, it's closer to 2 months. But when the changes come, they're real. More energy, more focus, better sleep, stronger connection. One man told me the first thing he noticed was that he started waking up before his alarm again for the first time in 10 years. That kind of change runs deeper than numbers on a lab test. And yes, many men ask where to find quality maca or yam cream. Health food stores or trusted online brands are great places to start. Simplicity matters. Stick with pure, unprocessed forms. These questions matter because they show you're invested in doing this right. And now that you've come this far, you might be wondering the same thing my patients often ask at the end of their first visit. What happens next? Let's answer that together. Because the next step could be the beginning of everything you've been missing. If you've read this far, I want to say something from the heart. You've already taken the hardest step, deciding that you're not ready to fade quietly. That matters more than you know because everything we've covered, eating for hormone strength, avoiding plastics, applying the yam cream, walking each day, even adding a teaspoon of MKA, it only works if you believe you're still worth fighting for. And you are. I've seen firsthand how quickly things can change when a man commits to showing up for himself again. I've watched shoulders straighten, eyes brighten, voices grow stronger. Not because of some miracle cure, but because of consistent, simple choices made twice a day. The egg yolks, the pumpkin seeds, the wild yam, these are just tools. What really changes things is when a man finally says, I want to feel like myself again, and then actually does something about it. So, let me remind you of what we've uncovered together. Testosterone is not just a hormone. It's a symbol of strength, drive, and connection. Losing it doesn't mean you've lost who you are. And getting it back, that's about more than biology. It's about reclaiming your role in your own life. I hope this guide has given you clarity, encouragement, and something more. A spark of possibility, because I believe you're capable of more than you've been told. This is your time, and you're not done yet. You know what to do twice a day, every day. Now, the only question left is, will you begin?